This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. A little pressed for time today. I still got quite used to my new schedule here, but it won't take long. But because of that, it's going to be another quick, short live. As you know, that the Browns quarterback situation is come to a head, and the Browns they got to make a decision. They got pretty much 6 quarterbacks. They brought in Tyler Huntley when they had injuries. He's not going to make the team. He's just there to try to get some tape out for himself. Deshaun Watson is probably not going to play all year long, so he's out of the equation. That leaves the other 4: Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, and Sanders. That's the top 4 on the chart right now, and it looks like Flacco has been named the Week 1 starter, which is no surprise. But the question now is, what will the Browns do? Are they going to start? Are they going to stick with Pickett as number 2, given that he hasn't been able to fully participate? Or do they deal him out or cut him? Or do you keep Pickett and see if you can make a deal for either Sanders or Gabriel? Time is running out for the Browns. They got to make a decision real quick. I'm still along the line that they're going to keep Pickett as number 2, and they're going to, whoever loses that battle between Gabriel and Sanders is probably going to be dealt. But I think that the likely thing to do is to cut one of them with the intention of putting him on the practice squad and hope that nobody else picks him up. But that's not likely, because these 2 guys, they played pretty decent when they had the opportunity. So I think the best decision for the Browns to make is to take one of those guys, deal them to somebody else, and try to get some value for those low-round picks. But we got to find out pretty soon what they're going to do. And by this time next week, we should know. Now, I thought Justin Fields all this time, he was doing pretty good, but I saw reports yesterday that Aaron Glenn, the new Jets head coach, he's not very happy with Fields. He's struggling with being consistent, and he's not taking the reins like what was reported that he would do. And if you go back to the contract that he signed, a 2-year, $40 million deal, that's far below the market value of what all the other players are making. And maybe the Jets never really had full confidence. They hope, just like you hope for any other player, but it seems right now that he's not stepping up and grabbing that position by the horns. So the question is, would Justin Fields actually be the starter on opening day? That question remains to be seen. But all those ills he has, they can be rectified in one last preseason game, and I think that he has the opportunity to rectify that, and he's going to have to if he wants to gain the full respect of his teammates and his head coach. So that's something that you need to keep an eye on. Another interesting thing that I came across, I see in the wake of the big fight that's coming up between Crawford and Canelo, is the purported fight opportunity between Laila Ali and Clarissa Shields. As you know, Ali's been retired for a number of years and is approaching 50. Shields is right around 30, 31. And it was once said that Ali, if she can get $15 million, maybe she would come out of retirement for that. Well, Shields reportedly got the $15 million, and she wants to push Ali into the ring. Well, of course, you got a young fighter like that who's going to be excited about trying to get an older fighter like Ali in the ring because you have the perceived advantages. Well, the biggest advantage I see that Shields would have in a fight like that is not necessarily the age, but the fact that Ali hasn't fought in years. And right now, Shields is at the top of her game. But still, that doesn't mean a thing. I've seen older dudes knock out young guys in the street on more than one occasion. So it's not a foregone conclusion just because you're younger that you're going to win the fight. But if Ali was to get in shape and take a fight or two as a tune-up, she would give Clarissa Shields far more than the average person realize. I'm saying that because Shields doesn't have any knockout power. and she tends to stand right in front of the people that she's fighting. Ali is much bigger than Shields, and she has knockout power. If she was to stand right in front of Shields and she get caught with one, it could be good night Shields. Now, if you need a comparison that's somewhere close to that, look at Foreman and Michael Moore. Michael Moore was a younger, faster fighter. He was the champion in his prime. Foreman was the big hitting guy that he was up in age. He couldn't move like he once did, but he was still a little bit bigger than Moore, and he had that knockout punch. He never lost that. And lo and behold, Moore dominated the fight. Then he got careless, and he got caught with one straight down the middle and knocked him out. And the strange thing about it is they never got a chance for a rematch. I don't think that Moore wanted a rematch. I think Moore disappeared off the scene entirely off that because he was embarrassed about it all. And Shields is doing all this talking, and if she keeps talking too much, I'm thinking that, you know, if the fight purse keeps going up, Ali just might be interested. But she say no, she's got other stuff that she's focusing on in her life. Pretty much that past life is gone, and she's not really concerned about it. But of course, the younger fighter is going to take that as a sign of cowardice. So she thinks that Ali is afraid of her. Well, no, she's not afraid. I tend to believe what Ali is saying about just got other stuff to do. When you start getting 50, for most of you that don't know, the older you get, the less you give a damn. And if you've already done something, you know, you're not worried about going too far back into it. And I think that is the case for her. All right, JC, how you doing, man? I got some Islamic writing here. I can't understand that, but I appreciate you chiming in, whatever you're saying. I think Ali feels she's too old to fight the younger Shield. No, I don't think she's too old. I don't think she feels that. I just think she's just not interested. But a fighter is a fighter is a fighter. But is it going to happen? I never thought it would. But if it did, a lot of people would expect Shields to completely dominate. But as I look at Shields, she stands right in front of her fighters, and that's not a good thing if you got somebody that's bigger with a much more harder punch. That's not what you want to do. And you can get comfortable and complacent because you beat these other fighters, but that doesn't mean you're going to beat another champion. It's just like any team in sports. You know, you don't see it as much in pros, but you see it a lot in college, and even much more so in high schools when you have two teams that are so far apart in talent. That team with all the talent, they just come in with all the confidence and they can do what they want to do because they got a talent advantage. But is that team really that good? No. You find out later on when somebody with half the talent than the team you just blown out comes on the scene, it's a completely different game. And as the talent level increases, then you really start to find out about this team that's blowing everybody out. So just because you're knocking people out doesn't mean you're going to knock everybody out. Eventually you're going to run across somebody that skill is going to come into play, but that doesn't come into play so much when you're the better team, when you're the more talented team. So, Break Forever, how you doing, man? Yeah, I think she's too old too, JC. That's why she's not going to fight. But if you got $20 million, I think I'd be interested in that. Matter of fact, a couple of years ago when Jake Paul and his brother, they looking around the internet for internet fighters, I didn't see that. But had I seen that, I would have thrown my hat in the ring, you know. And I seen the fight that, what's the guy, not Jake Paul, but his other brother, Logan, I believe it was. He's fighting this guy in England, KS1. And man, as far as I'm concerned, both those guys should have knocked each other out. That's just how bad their technical skills were at that time. Maybe they improved now, but they ain't improved that much. And if I had heard about it at the time, I would have put my hat in that. I'll go to England to fight KS1, but he's got to come up with a couple $1 million or matter of fact, I'll fight him for $1 million. You know, you give me X amount up front, and we get the contract ironed out. It'll be just the thing I need to get fully back in shape. I need to do that anyway, but an opportunity to go fight one of those young guys like that, I step in the ring, even though I got about 20 years on them. but I got 20 more years of knowledge, and if you get caught slipping, I'm gonna catch one of them. And when I catch him, I'm gonna keep on catching him. So if you KS1, you listening, you looking for more fighters. I see that Japanese guy you whipped. I'm not impressed. So talk some money. Let's get it on. And I think that Layla Ali would feel the same way if the money gets high enough, she may come out of that ring. But like I say, Shields will be the more efficient fighter at this point because she's been doing it. Ali hasn't been doing it. But she's a bigger fighter, and it don't take a whole lot. You catch him, be a big problem. All right, they should work together. What do you mean, like Layla and no, they're not gonna work together because Shields thinks she's the greatest of all time in a lot of ways, and I don't know about that. I still like Ann Wolf. All right, so is Ali afraid of Shields? Most of you are saying no, and I agree with that. But I just had to throw that in there. But as far as the Canelo and Crawford fight that's coming up in a couple weeks, man, that's going to be a vicious fight. A lot of people have said, well, I've seen reports over the last couple of weeks that they say that Crawford, if anybody could beat Mayweather, it would have been him. Well, you're having a debate now about who's going to win this Crawford-Canelo fight. And I remember when Mayweather took apart Canelo. And if what they're saying is true, that Crawford could beat Mayweather, then I will expect Crawford to take apart Canelo. Now, Canelo's got a lot of experience since then, and it's going to come down to heart. We know that Crawford has a lot of heart, and if Canelo, he's going to have to outskill Crawford. Crawford's got a big heart. The longer the fight goes, the harder he's going to fight. So I'm tending to think that Crawford's going to win this fight, but I don't see Crawford beating Mayweather in his prime. Now Mayweather came along at the right time. He didn't have to fight the Sugar Ray Leonards or the Haglers or my guy Aaron Pryor, those kind of guys. So, is he the greatest of all time? I don't know. Is Mayweather the greatest? I don't know. But you can't worry about that if you're the fighter, because when you come along, and just like what I was saying about Shedeur Sanders, you can't fault him because he didn't play against the Eagles in a preseason game. He was hurt. You have to go against whoever's in front of you, and that's what Mayweather and Crawford has been doing. So, but the point of all of that is, I think that Crawford, with his heart, and if he is really as good as Mayweather, then he should be able to beat Canelo. Some people are predicting that he's going to dominate Canelo, and then you got others that say that Canelo is just, he's a whole lot better than what you think. Well, we're going to find out on September 13th, and even though Crawford is advancing in age, the man can still fight, and he hasn't lost a fight yet, and I don't think he's ready to lose one. So we'll be waiting to see how that goes. But yes, I'm hearing Justin Fields is not doing so good in New York, man. And I thought that he would go up there and take control of that. So the inconsistency that you're seeing is probably the same things that he showed in Pittsburgh. As you know, they didn't use him very much in Pittsburgh. You come in spots. He started a few games. I thought he did pretty well. Then he made way for Russell Wilson once he got healthy. So who knows what really goes on behind the scenes. But one thing's for sure, those coaches and players know what's going on. And for the reports of Aaron Glenn not being too happy with him, and he's just like fading away, I don't think he's going to start. And if he ain't careful, he might be out of New York after this year. And if he is out of New York, what's next for Justin Fields? I don't know, but he's still young enough. He's still got potential. He'll land somewhere, just like Kenny Pickett. If he gets cut from the Browns, he's going to end up somewhere. And then again, don't cry for a guy like Kenny Pickett, because after Pittsburgh got rid of him, what did he end up doing? He ended up going to Philadelphia, and he won the Super Bowl. So you're a backup quarterback. You don't have to play very much, and you win a Super Bowl championship. Plus, you're making millions of dollars just to sit on the bench. So guys like Pickett, there's nothing to cry about for them. I wish him well, and same thing is going to happen with this Gabriel Sanders situation. If whoever doesn't make it in Cleveland, they're going to end up somewhere else. and they're going to learn, and the next thing you know, they're going to emerge, and one of those guys are going to come back and they're going to haunt Cleveland somewhere down the road. And I'll be waiting to see how that takes place. But I'm tired of hearing about Shador and Gabriel. I'm waiting for the Browns to make their decisions on about what they're going to do, because we as the fans, we deserve that. All right? So that little horn there, that was my cue. I got to get up out of here, man. I appreciate you guys chiming in with me. I hope you like and subscribe. And unless there's some breaking news, I'll come back on earlier tomorrow. I'll try to get on about 6:30. I got to run a little late with a little paperwork. But at this time, I got to get up out of here. I got to go sign in. So again, like and subscribe. And if there's no breaking news, I'll be back on in the morning. But if it is breaking news, I'll be trying to be the first to get it to you. So JC, break forever. I got my Islamic friends here. Abu Fazil, Red KDNB, and other Islamic name I can't read. And I hope you guys have a great day. And let me check this poll one last time. And most of you are saying that Ali is not afraid of shields, and I absolutely agree with that. It's just that you have such a big age gap. There's no more interest in the fight. But if they were to cross paths, they might get it on wherever they meet. And that may happen, but that will happen more likely than them two actually stepping into the ring together. But it would be an interesting contrast to see the old fighter against the newer fighter and see how that would take place. But if there's any internet fighters like KS1 out there and they throwing that money around, I'm throwing my hat in the ring. Call me up. I'll get in shape. Let's get it on. All right. Have a great day where you are. Wherever you are, I got to go to work. Until next time, this is Sports for Real. I'm out.